Thank you, Mr. President. My colleagues, my name is Karimi Sunday. I'm privileged to represent Kogi West, and I give God the glory for this. I hereby move that a bill for an act to amend the Electoral Act 2022 to allow political parties to nominate and replace validly elected candidates in the event of resignation, death of serving members in National Assembly and State Assembly and for connected matters therewith, 2023. Mr. President, my colleague, have made available to the senators my thoughts about this bill. And I will not bother you reading through. I'm just going to, in a way, paraphrase the bill. Mr. President, why this bill? My colleagues, why bring this bill? Okay. I'm going to give you, just listen.
The distinguished Senator Karimi.
Yes, sir.
Please confine yourself to the lead debate.
Yes, that's what I'm going to
give
do.
us the merits and general principles of the bill.
Yes, sir.
But if you want the senators to answer questions from you, you may choose to come by way of motion.
Okay, sir. Okay. This bill is about saving the nation from unnecessary spending. Let me first of all read part of the bill. The Electoral Act 2022, which is in this bill referred to as the Principal Act, is hereby amended and set out in this bill. Section 34 of the Electoral Act is hereby amended by inserting a new section, Section 34B, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Section 34B1, where a member of the National Assembly or any of the State Assembly have been duly elected and during his or her term in office dies or resign from office, vacancy arises other than by disqualification by a competent court. The political parties on whose platform he contested election shall nominate one of his members to replace such member of the National Assembly or State Assembly without the Commission having to conduct another election to replace candidates stroke members from that constituency. Section 34B2. In nominating a candidate to replace a validly elected candidate who has resigned or died in accordance with Section 34(1), the political party shall nominate duly qualified candidate, and special consideration shall be given to the candidate who participated in the primary and post second in the primary election that resulted in the nomination of the dead or resignation of the member of National or State Assembly. Section 34(3). Notwithstanding the provision of the subsection 2 of the above, a political party may conduct a fresh primary for the purpose of nomination of fresh candidate to replace the dead or retiring candidate referred to in subsection 1 of this vacancy, death or resignation, and some shall be in consonance, and same shall be in consonance with section 84 of the Electoral Act and any other written law relating to the primary election for the time being in force. 3. Section 84 of the Principal Act is amended by inserting in between the existing section 84 and 85 a new section 84B, which shall read as follows. Section 84B, whenever a vacancy occurs in a legislative house due to death or resignation of a candidate who has been validly elected on the platform of a political party, the political party in whose platform the candidate contested and won the election shall nominate another of its members through a valid primary election to replace the candidate who died or resigned during his term in office as either a member of National Assembly or any of the state assemblies, provided that the candidate who posed second may be nominated to replace the resigning or dead candidate, and where a fresh primary election is to be conducted, same shall be conducted within 14 days of the death or resignation. The bill may be cited as Electoral Act Amendment B 2023. Mr. President, just like I've said from the onset, the purpose of this bill is to eliminate waste in conducting by-elections by INEC. This bill that I'm proposing is not a new thing. It's what is happening in other climes of the world. In America, where we borrowed our presidential system from, what is in place there is that when a candidate resigns or during the tenure died, you don't go through another election. The candidate is replaced by the party or by the state Congress. The states in America have it differently. So what we are saying here, why do we need to be, even in all Supreme Court judgment, it is said that the party owns the ticket. If the party owns the ticket, then when we have such situation, the party should replace the candidate. Also, when we go into an election, you don't see the name of candidate on the ballot paper. What you see on the ballot paper is the name of the party. So why are we wasting money conducting fresh elections? The money that we are wasting to conduct fresh election can be utilized in all bringing infrastructural development to our people. So some of my colleagues are saying they are thinking that if this bill is in place, they will be killing all over the country. Come on, we have to take a step beyond this. Our democracy is growing, and we need to reduce cost. That is the purpose of this bill. And I believe my colleagues will rise above sentiment and support this bill. Thank you.
Are we, distinguished colleagues, have we looked at the provisions of the Electoral Act and the Constitution? Do we have any provision that allows for nominated candidates into Senate, House of Representatives, or State House of Assembly? Because there are some, when I had the privilege to go to IPU, I discovered that some of these countries we hear about actually have parliaments, but the parliaments are nominated. They are not elected. So the bill as proposed will have two sections. That you have a group of people who are nominated, and then you have a group of people who are elected. So, but let me hear from the floor. Joel, Senator Joel. If
distinguished colleagues, my name is Joel Onoabo Thomas. I represent the good people of Delta South Electoral District. Mr. President, I'm standing here to second the motion, the bill moved by my dear brother, Senator Steve, that the Electoral Act be amended with the provisions therein stated and others as being read by my distinguished colleague. Therefore, Mr. President, I move that this bill, I second that this bill be read for a second time. Thank you, Mr. President.
yes, distinguished Senator Kawu.
Mr. President, my dear distinguished colleagues, I am Suleiman Abdurrahman Kawu Sumaila, representing Kano South Senatorial District, Mr. President, from Kano. Mr. President, I listened to the MUBA of this bill, and Senator Steve Karim, our friend, our brother, we came in contact with him since 2011, over 1 decade. But when he is presenting this bill, I just thinking that what the bill tend to achieve. What are we heading to if we pass this kind of legislation in this chamber? There is a reason where we adopted presidential system of government. Quite all right, we borrowed it from somewhere, as he said. But we need to look into some issues which the presidential system of government, a constitutional representation where everybody is participating in selecting the representative to represent the interest of a community, has a reason of doing so. The reason of adopting this system which we are operating now is to have a full representation and inclusivity, where everybody will be carried away, I will be carried in decision-making process. And the system we are operating now under the current constitution, and of course, our electoral laws give a legitimacy and trust. We are here because our people believe that we will represent their interest. They have trust on us. And the system we are operating bring about democratic stability. How can we allow a party leaders to choose a representative in the constitutional representation in a heterogeneous society like Nigeria? Yes, the ticket is for the party, but the vote is for the candidate. And policy representation. We are here, all of us has a particular thinking and belief which he is here for. The system of our political parties, when you read into what political parties of Nigeria is all about, it comes under the category of mass political party, where we are only looking at quality, not quantity. There are so many types of political parties, but the political parties we are practicing now in Nigeria, most of them come under mass political party, where quality is not needed in membership drive. Mr. President, civic engagement. When you are presenting yourself as a candidate, you are interacting with your constituents, persuading them, telling them your capacity. How can some few group of people nominate a representative in a constitutional democracy? We are not in communist system. We are not in China, Russia, or other Eastern democracy where they are not respecting wish or will of the people. Mr. President, finally, we need to look into our diversity, ideas, perspective of Nigeria. Therefore, this bill, there is no need for us to even continue. We have so many things in our order paper. My dear respected colleagues, withdraw your bill for us to continue doing the most important items in our order paper. I so submit, Mr. President. Thank you.
Well, I think Senator Kawu will be the last person to speak for 6 minutes. The Senate leader raised a point of order.
Well, Mr. President, distinguished senators, my point of order is pursuant to Order 79-1, which deals with the rule of debate on second reading of bills. And it very specifically provides that the debate shall be on the merits of the bill. To begin with, the first fundamental error was the fact that even the sponsor of the bill, unfortunately, did not present us with a lead debate. All we got was a copy of the bill to which amendment is being proposed and a copy of the amendment. A lead debate that should have stated the merits of the bill itself was not present, which was an error on its own. And more importantly, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I believe our procedure here should be with respect to both constitutional amendment as well as proposed amendment to the electoral bill, because virtually every senator here has one thing or the other that colleagues believe ought to be amended with respect to the electoral bill as it is presently. So all we would have to do when it comes to constitutional amendment is that after the first reading, it be referred to the Senate Committee on Constitutional Review so that they could have a thorough consideration of the proposal. And I believe it's the same procedure we have to adopt also for electoral bill. Rather than having to do a second reading of proposed amendment to electoral bill every legislative day. We have quite a number of them. So my proposal, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, is that this bill be referred to the committee that would sit down and consider the merit of not only this, but every other proposed amendment to the electoral bill. But the most important thing I wanted to urge was on the need for every sponsor of a bill to present us with a lead debate. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Karimi, your proposed amendment was not accompanied with the lead debate that will give us the general merits and principles of the proposed amendment. He said we have a copy of the proposed amendment instead of the lead debate. So you may wish to withdraw it, or we step it down until it comes properly before us.
Mr. President, the Committee on Constitutional Amendment. So I don't want to withdraw the bill. It can be referred to the committee. I believe in the bill. I be referred to the committee.
Distinguished colleagues, I think if you actually go through the proposal, even though it's not we don't have the lead debate, you see there is some kind of thoughts that seems to align with some of the judgments that we have, that it is the political party that has the votes and not necessarily the individual. That is on the one hand. But on the other hand, we have more than 10 political parties at any point in time contesting an election. So if somebody unfortunately dies, and we go to the other political party to pick the person who was second in primaries, are we sure that person would have been accepted by the electorate? You understand what I mean? So, but your argument is that the vote did not belong to the person who died. It belonged to the political party. But the votes were given to the person who died by the electorate. And then, okay, so you are looking at the primaries. The primaries does not send somebody to the chambers. It is the final election. It's the final election that sends somebody to the primary. So in any case, distinguished colleagues, is it the view of the Senate that this be referred to the Committee on Electoral Matters for further consideration? Okay. Let me rephrase my question. Even on the, let me rephrase my question. Distinguished colleagues, in spite of the fact that we did not see the lead debate, but we have a general idea of what the proposed amendment is all about. Those who are in support of further steps being taken on this proposed amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it. Leader of the Senate.